right, Lindsey, what's on your lens today?
Let's get to it. So, Democrats are feeling something they haven't felt in a while: momentum. After a string of recent wins, there's a real belief inside the party that flipping the House next year is a possibility. Now, anti-Trump anger is motivating voters, and a renewed focus on affordability is finally cutting through. But energy alone does not win elections. Clarity does. Even some Democrats are saying the quiet part out loud. Senator Chris Coons, a close ally of President Biden, argues the party needs to rethink how it talks to voters and stop lecturing them. He says Democrats need to listen and actually solve problems in ways people feel in their everyday lives. As he put it, quote, stop telling Americans how to be and what to feel and believe. He added that leaders, quote, need to listen and focus on helping Americans achieve financial security and live the American dream. He went on to say, quote, we have to get back to the values and ideas that draw people to be Democrats to begin with. Coons shared those views in an essay published in Democracy, the Journal of Ideas, and his background matters here. Both of Coons' parents were Republicans. He even helped found the Amherst College Republicans. His argument is simple and familiar. To win again, Democrats need to offer voters a concise, accessible framework rooted in opportunity, security, and justice that includes affordable housing, quality education, and jobs everywhere, not just in these coastal bubbles. Former President Barack Obama echoed a similar message this week, speaking to House Democrats in Los Angeles. He warned lawmakers not to get trapped in the ideological food fights as they try to win back the House. According to ABC News, Obama told Democrats to focus on winning first and sort out these internal differences later. According to transcript obtained by ABC News, he said, quote, because I promise when that gets done, we have enormous talent, and we are then going to be in a position, as the next presidential campaign ramps up, to sort through some of the differences. He added that the party's differences aren't that big, and that social media often magnifies them. The voters seem open to this moment. According to a November poll, a majority of voters say they would rather elect a Democrat candidate if the midterms were held today. The poll found that 55% would choose a Democrat compared to 41% for a Republican. That shift is not accidental. Trump ran on lowering prices, and now months into his term, prices are still rising. Grocery costs more, electric bills are up. His approval rating has dropped to 36%, with many voters saying his policies are making everything more expensive. Even voters focused on the economy think he's not doing enough to fix it. The reality is this: there are fewer competitive House seats than there were back in 2018. The low-hanging fruit is gone. A wave is harder to build when the map is tighter. That means Democrats cannot afford vague messages or mid-campaign pivots. Voters want specifics. They want to know what Democrats are fighting for and how it helps them right now. The path forward is not louder rhetoric. It's a clear economic message focused on affordability, delivered consistently, and followed by results. Momentum opens the door, sure. Message decides whether Democrats walk through it.
Well, look, I mean, I agree that that's all valid and messaging is important, and Democrats, I concede, have an opportunity because things are not going as well for Republicans as they would have liked. Trump has not improved the economy sufficiently, in my view, and I again point to policies, tariffs, and other things that have kept prices higher than they should be. But the Democrats they are split on a lot of issues, like specific issues. I mean, should Democrats run on Medicare for all? Should they run on Bernie Sanders, I just saw, announced that he favors a moratorium on all new data centers. He doesn't want to build any new data centers because he thinks AI is growing, that sector is growing too quickly, and democracy needs time to catch up. No more data centers. China's not doing a moratorium on data centers, but we're going to do a moratorium on data centers. Great idea. That is, in my view, that's bad. Is that what Democrats are going to run on? Halting all progress? Is that what they're like? We got to figure out, are Democrats going to go the Bernie Sanders populist, hardcore left thing on specific issues like that, or should they not? Or are they going to do a neoliberalism that I think is better policies, but is clearly not popular when Democrats do it?
So when it comes down to MAGA and then the wider Republican Party, you always say that they have a lot of disagreements. That's what makes MAGA beautiful, right? Yeah. And so that's always your argument about how many, when you have Marjorie Taylor Greene doing the most. And so I think that Democrats have to have the same leeway because some of them are really policy-based within the Republican Party. It's like what President Trump is doing does not align with the historical Republican behavior that still exists within the party, right? You call a lot of people rhinos that are traditional Republicans. They still get your vote to get Trump in office. And so to me, I think that the Democrats don't have to decide. That's what Obama's point was. Just because Mamdani's running, just because Mamdani's running doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, we're all Mamdani. Like, no, that works for New York.
Well,
and we can pick out of the policies that work for the broader country federally and say, oh, that makes sense. But not everything he says makes sense for the whole country.
Who's the national,
it makes sense
what
for
are the policies of the national candidate is what I'm wondering. With Trump, it's a little bit different. Man, there's a lot of emergency vehicles outside our windows today. I hope everything's all right. With Trump, it's different because he has such power over the Republican Party, and it's a personality-based thing, not a policy-based thing. So the policy is just whatever he says it is, and it doesn't have to be internal. It can be more conservative on something. He is much more conservative on immigration. It can be less conservative on other things. He cares less about entitlements than a previous generation of Republicans did. He doesn't want to privatize Social Security and cut Medicare, and sadly, because I think those would be great things to do. Privatize that. He doesn't want to do it, so he's less conservative on that. It doesn't have to be ideologically consistent for him. It's just about Trump and his personality. The Democrats don't have someone. They don't even have an Obama-like figure with a fairly compelling personality who could then pick whatever policies he wants for the most part because he's popular. They don't have someone like that.
Right, because they're doing they have to completely do a rebirth.
So
because, that's going to
yes.
come with time, I think, in the next election. But since we're talking about the midterms, I don't think that these candidates in the midterms that are obligated to represent their districts and their states and their places, they need to focus on what policies overall matter. And that's kind of what Obama's point was.
I'm just curious
is that, I would like to, too.
I'd like to know
I think when the
which way they're
midterms
gonna
are done, and you saw that interview with Pelosi yesterday. She was very confident, in your words, overly confident about the winning. But it's not for every candidate. If you look at Abigail Spanberger, she's a great example. She didn't lean into the Mamdani policy. She also didn't lean into the Trump bashing. She led in with eager talk about struggling systems that are not working within Virginia and saying, listen, we're not going to attack President Donald Trump and what he maybe has done in the DMV area. We're going to talk about how people can get more money in their pockets. And that was a winning message. So I think if Democrats focus on the actual people that they might have, quote unquote, forgot about in the last few elections, and not about how bad President Trump is, because that's not a winning message anymore.
I guess I would just like to calibrate my own personal level of alarm. You're right. If Democrats are running, it's Abigail Spanbergerism, then I would not be particularly alarmed. If it's halt all new technological innovation because I don't like it, Bernie Sanders style stuff, I think that's going to be catastrophic for our country, for our competition with China, for our leadership on the global stage, and then my hair will be on fire.
Well, there's going to be some young people that come into the Democratic Party slowly but surely that have more open-minded views about technology, AI, all the things that you are.
I don't know that comes from Bernie Sanders being old. I think that comes from him being a hardcore leftist. Mamdani's also a hardcore leftist. Maybe he can say.
Mamdani seems like the balance. Maybe I'd like to.
A balance.
A balance between Bernie Sanders and being younger. You know what I mean? Maybe he's more open to use social media in a way.
And socialism. A balance between economic extremism and Islamic extremism. No, I'm kidding. I don't think that he's an Islamic extremist.
Thank you for correcting
that. I think that he is an economic extremist, and that is disqualifying on its own, and has some extreme ideas about the police. But anyway, next up, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles was surprisingly candid, maybe not so surprising, but she was candid about White House staff in a series of interviews with Vanity Fair. We'll discuss. Stay with us.